Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ TV níbi wọ́n ti ń dábì ẹnu tí wọ́n ń rọ̀ bí òwú. Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ TV láti gbóhùn sáfẹ́fẹ́ láti ń dábì ẹnu tá ń rọ̀ bí òwú. Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ TV, Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ TV, ọgbọ́n bẹ, òye bẹ, ìdánilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lóríṣiríṣi ní Gbàgede Ìmọ̀ TV. Ẹ máa wò ó, ẹ máa gbọ́.
Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo tún kí gbogbo ojú tó ń wò mí lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé lágbà nínú ilé yìí mo kí wa pé àkókò dédé àsìkò yìí àsìkò gbójú ọjọ́ ti rí ẹni ó dóbi bó ló ti rí lọ́dọ̀ tí yín. A kú oríire a kú oríire a kú oríire fún àwa tá a nígbàgbọ́ wípé oríire ni wọ́n sì kú orí ibú wọ́n kú òfò wọ́n kú àṣedànù àwọn wo àwọn tí wọ́n wáyé wọn wá sọ̀sọ̀kúsọ táwọn ò kì í rí nǹkan tó dáa rí nínú tíjọba bá ṣe wọ́n kú òfò. Ibi táwa ti ń dunnú láàárọ̀ yìí wípé wọ́n bá wa gba àwọn ọmọ wa sílẹ̀ o láyọ̀ àtàlàfíà tí nǹkan kan ò kàn àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Ibẹ̀ láti rí àwọn ọ̀tá Ọlọ́run kan tí wọn ò páyà Ọlọ́run tí wọn bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run nítorí òṣèlú torí kọ́bọ̀kọ́bọ̀ táwọn olóṣèlú fẹ́ fún wọn tí wọ́n jáde síta tí wọ́n sọ kábàkàbà lẹ́nu láìṣẹ̀ láìrò. Ara rú wọn ni Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ àtàwọn míì bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan nínú fídíò tá a ṣe lénìí fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá wo fídíò tí mo ti ṣe kọjá mo sọ pé màá wá sọ nǹkan tó ní kálukú wọn kábàkàbà tó ní kálukú wọn sọ. Ìkan rèé bí ohun tí Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ sọ òun ni màá fẹ́ kí n fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ iṣẹ́ yìí. Mo ti lóríṣiríṣi write up bọ́ títẹ́ nìkan tó catch heart mi ó ní tọmọ Yorùbá tó ń pè ní Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ although I have seen a lot lórí Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀. I've watched a lot of her videos, I've seen a lot of write-ups from her and mo ti conclude tipẹ́tipẹ́ kó dà pé woman yẹn ní brain touch. Gbogbo current issues ló máa ń gbẹ́nu sí torí kóhùn lè wà relevant and the way tó fi ń behave àti the way tó fi ń ṣe mọ́ ex-convict ni ó dàbí ipò ti ní brain touch nígbà tán ti mẹ́wọ̀n torí tí kì bá ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn ọmọ ọlọ́mọ wà ní incarceration for 50-something days. Ó lánú pàkà ó ní Tinubu ló kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn pamọ́. Máa tó review kí ni ó ṣẹlẹ̀ báwo ni wọ́n ṣe gba àwọn ọmọ yẹn sílẹ̀. Ẹni tó bá wo fídíò tí mo ṣe lọ́sàn-án yìí ẹ rí gbogbo mo ṣe ṣàlàyé bí wọ́n ṣe fi àwọn ọmọ yẹn sílẹ̀. Tó bá pé Tinubu ló jí wọn kó pamọ́ gbogbo tú tí àwọn àmì wa pa àti ibi táwọn àmì wa ti lọ gbà wọ́n lẹ̀ wọ́n á kó wọn wọnú igbó lọ wọ́n lọ kó wọn wá padà bí. Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ sọ pé there was no any rescue. Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ alleged Ọ̀yọ́ kidnap victims were simply brought back. Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ has questioned the official account of the release of the abducted Oyo school children and teachers, alleging without any evidence that there was no rescue operation and suggesting a government cover-up. In a post shared on X, Olúlọ́yọ̀ claimed there was no rescue operation, alleging without providing evidence that the victims were simply returned after being taken to northern Nigeria. Her remarks have generated debate online, while no official response to the claims has been issued. Media personality Kẹ́mi Olúlọ́yọ̀ has stirred controversy after questioning the officials' account surrounding the release of the school children and teachers abducted on Orire local government area of Oyo State. In a post shared on X, Oluloyo claimed there was no rescue operation at all, alleging without providing evidence that the victims were simply returned after being taken to northern Nigeria. She also alleged that pressure from the United Nations She also alleged that pressure from United Nations and an investigation reportedly linked to US President Donald Trump influenced their release. I just blasted the Nigeria army, and I'm quoting her. I just blasted the Nigeria army on X. Many of you are equally daft. There was no rescue. They simply brought back those kids from the north the same way they took them, she wrote. Oluloyo further alleged that the victims and their families had been instructed by the presidency that not to grant interviews to bloggers, podcasters, or journalists, asking what are they hiding. She also claimed the victim were moved to the north and hidden before being released, adding that attempts to change the narrative would not succeed. Her claims have not been substantiated with evidence, and Nigerian authorities have not publicly responded to the allegations. Earlier reports from security agencies stated that the victims regained their freedom after weeks in captivity. Ṣé mo tún wá àwọn tó oríṣiríṣi àwọn èèyàn ni wọ́n jáde ni wọ́n sọ jágàjàgà yìí. Aláìnílàákàyè bíi tiẹ̀ kan wá sọ pé if Kemi Oluloyo is wrong, why didn't they show or tell us about the bandits? Have you thought of that? What happened to them? Were they arrested or nothing? Nothing was said about it. Truly, the government knew where they have been all along. This is just political at its peak 2027 election. Eléyìí sọ pé I have taken time to look carefully at the pictures of the released children, and I noticed that some of them were wearing native attires made of Ankara. Is that their school uniform? Since they were adopted from school. Also, I am surprised that their clothes are looking new and clean, considering that they may not have had a chance to wash their clothes these 55 days. Also, I was expecting to see really emaciated children after almost 2 months of little or no feeding. I don't believe, but what Kemi said is true. Eléyìí sọ pé she's right. The film industry of Nollywood has entered the Nigerian government for a long time, so we are watching movies as they play it. Ẹ wá jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀ sí ìtí mo kà tó. Ẹ ti rí wípé all these people are getting advice from madman. Single madman ló fún wọn l'advice. Tí kì bá ṣe pé jẹ̀ta sọpọlọ èèyàn kan. Wọ́n káwọn mọ́lẹ̀ tàbí káwọn mọ́lẹ̀ lánàá lálẹ́. Àwọn military àárín videos ibi tí wọ́n ti ń kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn nù gbó. And let me tell you, ẹ jẹ́ kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí ìtaṣọ. Ẹ jẹ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí ìtì aṣọ táwọn ọmọ yẹn wọ̀. Máa bá mi ṣó wọn jọ. Àwọn ọmọ kéékèèké tẹ́ ẹni tán kó yẹn. Aṣọ tó wọ̀ yẹn gbogbo wọn náà wọ̀ ní káàbì. Àwọn àwọn ọmọ tá à ń rí gbogbo wọn náà wọ àǹkárá yíká, àǹkárá ló wà lọ́rùn gbogbo wọn délẹ̀. Rí school uniform lọ́rùn àwọn kan nù wọn. Then àwọn kan dá wíyà lásán, singlet lásán ló wà lọ́rùn wọn. Ọlọ́run tí àwọn là ń ṣòtà ní. And let me tell you one thing. Ìjọba la pè ní ìjọba government. Ó yàtọ̀ sí àwọn tí individual lọ gbà sílẹ̀. Tí individual bá gbàyàn sílẹ̀, bọ́n ṣe rí gangan yẹn ni individual ṣe máa gbé wọn jáde. Ìjọba lọ gba àwọn ọmọ sílẹ̀. Tátà bọ́n ṣe rí yẹn níjọba máa wá ṣó ẹ̀ síta. Àbẹ́mọ̀ pé nǹkan tó ń ṣó yẹn the whole world ló máa wo fídíò yìí. Bọ́n ṣe wà yẹn kó tó di wọ́n máa tan kámẹ́rà sí wọn, wọ́n á ti jẹ́ kán wẹ̀, wọ́n á ti tún wọn ṣe. Ìwọ̀nba aṣọ tó wà lọ́wọ́ wọn tó lè wá wọ̀. Principal wọn yẹn kí ló dé tí ò ṣe ìjà aṣọ kan ṣo tó ṣàwọ̀ látijọ́ ìlú wà lọ́rùn ẹ̀. Ìjọba bá mi ṣó fídíò má yẹ kó stop. Aṣọ kan ṣo tí principal wọn wọ̀, ẹ wo aṣọ principal yẹn, aṣọ kan ṣo tó ṣì ń wọ̀ náà ló wà lọ́rùn ẹ̀. Tó bá kó wọn lọ bì kan, ó yẹ kí woman yẹn náà kóhun náà lóró àti bùbá kó wá wo aṣọ kó dẹ́dẹ́dẹ́ kó kàn kúrú. Àwọn tí ò ṣe é rí inú àwọn ọmọ yẹn ni wọ́n káṣọ fún. Kí láṣọ náà sì wípé aṣọ yẹn pàápàá kì í ṣe pé aṣọ tó ti wà. I don't even know. Uniform là ń rí lọ́rùn àwọn ọmọ tó fẹ́ jáde, ọmọ tẹ́ ń wò tó fẹ́ bọ́ style, uniform ló sì wà lọ́rùn ẹ̀. Òkè ìjọba wá dájú kò yọ uniform àwọn kan, ó kó aṣọ fáwọn kan, àbí? They must show them presentably. Wọ́n ti tún wọn ṣe, wọ́n ṣe pọ́n wọn tátàlì yẹn wọn lè show wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ láíláí because international community máa wo fídíò yìí. Ẹ wo àwọn ọmọ yẹn bọ́n ṣe gbẹ, ẹ wo bọ́n ṣe rù. Mi ò wá láti wá defend the government. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ gbọ́ níbo ni wọ́n ti kó wọn, níbo ni wọ́n kó wọn sí, báwo ni wọ́n ṣe kó wọn. Ṣé ẹ gbàgbé gbogbo àwọn tẹ́lẹ̀ tán sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, ọ̀gá wọn pátápátá tó gbapò ti president ẹ̀wọ̀n kóò náà ti sọ̀rọ̀ níjẹta. Èyí tó yà mí lẹ́nu ni pé ìjọba mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ wọ́n acknowledge Governor Makinde wípé ó ṣe wọn òun náà bá wọn lọ́wọ́ sí, wọ́n acknowledge ẹ̀. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. But níjẹta ṣẹ́wọ̀n pé Makinde jáde síta, Makinde sọ fún wa pé gbàrà tóun ti declare báyìí, òun declare ní aago 2 ọ̀sán, aago 9 àárọ̀ ọjọ́ kejì òní wọ́n wá kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn. He was accusing government indirectly pé government ló wá jí wọn kó, corroborating what Olúlọ́yọ̀ is saying now, that pé kò sí rescue, return ló wà. Àwọn tó kó wọn tó abduct wọn náà ló dá wọn lẹ̀, which is government tó kó wọn náà ló return wọn. Wọ́n kó wọn torí pé wọ́n fẹ́ kí Mákindé gbàpò tí ni. Mákindé náà wá sọ fún wa pé òun declare lẹ́nìí wọ́n dá ọmọ yẹn kó lọ́la. Government mọ̀ kó wọn pamọ́ nìyẹn torí kóun bá máa gbàpò tí. Ask me who is Mákindé. Ask me pé political power wo ló wà lọ́wọ́ Mákindé tó fẹ́ fi win ní Nàìjíríà as president. Ask me pé ṣé Mákindé lè win local government yẹ, local means ọ̀rọ̀ state, local government yẹ. Torí pé ìjọba tó ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ yìí, àwọn tó bá win, àwọn tí wọ́n jà fún tó fi win, gbogbo wọn pátá ló ti kó sí pápẹ́ báyìí. Ìtòwó bídì ẹnu wọn, ìtò sọ di wèrè, ìtò oríṣiríṣi ló sọ wọ́n dà. Tó ń jò wèrè ara kìíní sí, Oríyọmí Hamzat, kò sí tún tí ò fi patán, orí ló bá yẹn ṣe tí ò tó dá padà sẹ́wọ̀n. Ṣé ó gba àwọn ẹgbẹ́ máa tó wà lọ dìbò fún presidency? So even local government kò lè win. In fact, as a matter of fact, tí ó bá ṣọ́ra kò ní win ní wọ́ọ̀dù ẹ̀. téèyàn ló wá fẹ́ dúnkòokò mọ́ gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì ní gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì máa wá torí kó declare náà máa lọ já ọmọ lọ́mọ kó. Gọ́fìmẹ̀ntì tí ó sùn tí ò wo. Kẹ́mi Olúnlọ́yọ̀, you were not blind and I believe you were not deaf. Nígbà táwọn trúùpù yìí tí wọ́n fi léde pé gbogbo àwọn associate àwọn Fúlàní yẹn pátá làwọn ti lọ kó. Ẹ jẹ́ ká right up yìí. State House press statement. President Tinubu expressed joy over the rescue of Orire abducted children and teachers, commend security agencies. President Tinubu has expressed profound joy at the successful rescue of the children and teachers from Orire. In fact, fídíò tá play lọ́sàn máa tún padà play fídíò yẹn. Torí àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tí màánù yẹn yànnàná tó yẹ ká tó gbọ́ nínú interview tó ń ṣe. Máa yẹn ti fault anybody tó bá sọ pé ìjọba tó wà lóde yìí ló kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn pamọ́. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí máa yẹn sọ ti fault gbogbo ẹ̀. Gbogbo bọ́n ṣe rescue àwọn ọmọ yẹn ni máa yẹn sọ nú ẹ̀. So ṣe wá possible kí government of the day ó fọwọ́ rẹ̀ káwọn ọmọ yẹn pamọ́ kó tún wá dú ẹnìkan nínú wọn bí ẹ tó dú ẹran ó ṣẹ̀ máa kó wọn bọ́ stansin. Àwọn tó bá ronú bẹ́ẹ̀ definitely táwọn bá déjọba they can do that. That is what they say. Àwọn lè fi irú ẹ̀ play politics and one can now see that we are not safe tó bá gbéjọba fún wọn. That is just the logic. It shows we are not safe tó bá gbéjọba fún wọn ní Nàìjíríà ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ fúnra ẹ̀ ní brain. Dàrú àìlè ká má tiẹ̀ jẹ́ kọ́lé corridor power rárá. Because what they are telling us indirectly is that they can go as low as kidnapping those kidnapping school students láti fi ṣe propaganda lórí ìjọba. Táwọn bá rẹ́ bọ́ọ̀lì tó gbá kò tí against àwọn lè lọ state ẹ̀ káwọn lọ jíyàn gbé sí lọ́rùn nítorí sọ fún wa nìyẹn. Torí àwọn ṣe bá jọba dá sí tíjọba fi gba gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yẹn lẹ̀. Ọ̀gá ológun ti jáde sọ̀rọ̀ báwọn ṣe gba gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀rá bí yẹn tí ẹ jẹ́ ká yẹn ẹ fi ti Tinubu lẹ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ká ti yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká bọ́n ṣe release bọ́n ṣe rescue àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Ìyà tí wọ́n jẹ́rẹ̀ o kán tó fi àwọn ọmọ yẹn kán tó rí àwọn ọmọ yẹn gbà o. Tinubu náà ló fi gbogbo ìyà jẹ àwọn troops wa torí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ yẹn pamọ́. Ó wá pa gbogbo àwọn troops wa ṣe wọ́n léṣe kó tó dìbò fún àwọn ọmọ yẹn lẹ̀. Security forces suffered casualties while rescuing all of Oyo kidnapped victims alive. Army refused. Kẹ́mi Olúnlọ́yọ̀ sọ pé Amẹ́ríkà ló dúnkòokò mọ́ Tinubu àti United Nations ló dúnkòokò mọ́ kó tó lọ kó àwọn yẹn sílẹ̀. Ṣé representative United Nations àti representative Amẹ́ríkà ló sọ fún Kẹ́mi? Source wo ni Kẹ́mi ti rí tó sọ yẹn? How reliable is the source? Then where are the evidences or a single evidence tó ní láti back up claim ẹ̀? That is why tó fi jẹ́ pé tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì bá gbé irú wọn for defamation of character àwọn ayé á máa pariwo. Nígbà tó jókòó sí comfort zone ẹ nílùú òyìnbó tó rántí gbèsè ayé tara ẹ ayé ẹ tó ń bàjẹ́ lọ tó ràn àtọmọ ẹ. Many things ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ẹ tó sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o. Ó ṣe tẹ̀wọ̀n dé ní pàápàá o ex-convict ni ẹ̀wọ̀n tó lọ́gán ní nǹkan yẹn ti ṣe kọ́sán ti fẹ́ sí ní brain. Irú yẹn ló wá dìde ló wá sọ̀rọ̀ wípé pẹ́pẹ́sẹ́ kan torí ẹ̀ ló jẹ́ pọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ò ṣe tẹ̀lé. Ohun tó dún àwọn àmì wa rí nínú igbó kan tó rescue àwọn ọmọ yẹn òní mo fẹ́ kà fún wa. Fídíò máa yẹn náà máa tó wá ní kan tó tún play ká tó wá gbọ́ kí ni tó ṣẹlẹ̀ báwọn náà ṣe rá ọmọ yẹn gbà. The Nigerian Army has revealed for the first time that members of the security forces suffered casualties during the month-long operation that secured the freedom of all the pupils and teachers abducted from school in Orire local government area of Oyo State. A significant details omitted from the earlier announcement by the presidency. The disclosure came on Friday in a detailed statement by the acting deputy director 2 Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Danjuma, who gave the fullest official account yet of the painstaking operation that ended the 56-day captivity of the victims. Wọ́n sọ pé 56 days of housekeeping captivity not before. The revelation adds a new dimension to the successful rescue mission, highlighting the sacrifice made by personnel from multiple security agencies who ensured that every surviving hostages were brought out alive. While the presidency had earlier confirmed that all the kidnapped pupils and teachers had been rescued, and later disclosed that 8 suspected kidnappers were arrested while others were neutralized, it makes no mention of casualties suffered by security personnel during the operation. Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma said the operation was deliberately designed to prioritize the safety of the hostages, even at considerable risk to the troops involved. It suffices to note that the operations were carefully planned and executed to avoid collateral damages and to equally ensure that the innocent children and teachers were safely rescued. However, there were some casualties on the part of the security forces, the army spokesperson stated. It did not disclose the number of personnel killed or injured or identified the affected security agencies. According to the army, the rescue followed intelligence-led, carefully planned and executed operations carried out on July 10 by troops of the Nigerian Army led by the General Officer commanding 2 Division, Major General C.R. Nnabiefe, working alongside special units coordinated by the Office of the National Security Advisor through the National Counter-Terrorist Center. The operation also involved special forces elements from the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Air Force, as well as personnel of the Nigeria Police Force, the Department of State Service, DSS, the National Intelligence Agency, NIA, the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Amotekun operatives, and local vigilantes and hunters. The army said all 44 abducted pupils and teachers kidnapped by terrorists from Orire local government area on May 15 were rescued. According to the statement, the operation lasted for more than a month and focused on identifying the terrorist kingpins behind the mass abduction before dismantling their network. The operations, which lasted for more than a month, focused on identifying the terrorist kingpin that masterminded the kidnapping, busting and dismantling their networks and logistics links, including their informants and hideout located within the old Oyo National Forest, Oyo State, Danjuma said. Ìyẹn làwọn Igboho lọ ṣe wá. Wọ́n kọ́kọ́ lọ adé nǹkan táwọn Igboho ń ṣe, that is their reason of going to that bush. Wọ́n for opportunity Igboho wọlé ni, but ọ̀nà iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n rán wọn ni pé ẹ lọ identify ibi tó wà wá. Àwọn àtàwọn security ti federal kó fún Igboho ìlú ẹkùn. Nígbà tó dẹ̀ ti parí iṣẹ́ wọn, wọ́n submit report wọn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe ní utmost secret. Ẹni pé lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta yìí, obìnrin yẹn ò jáde síta. Obìnrin principal tó máa ń lò yẹn. Wọ́n á rí pé àrímọ́ lórí social media. In tó fà ni pé àwọn security wa, wọ́n ti mọ̀ọ́mọ̀ cut gbogbo means of communications. Wọ́n lè bọ́ sórí social media mọ́, ẹni bá àrí wọn mọ́. the last video tóbìnrin yẹn ṣe wọ̀ sígbà tó sọ pé wọn ò béèrè ransom, wọn ò béèrè sharia, wọ́n sì ní network gbà yẹn. Bọ̀bọ̀ táwọn security wá ṣe ni pé wọ́n kó gbogbo àwọn associate wọn, àwọn tó mọ̀ pé lè máa fún wọn formation, wọ́n lọ kó gbogbo wọn, àtẹ̀bí o, àtàrà o, àtọmọ, àtìyàwó. Wọ́n tó wá kó gbogbo àwọn informant wọn, àwọn 6 ni wọ́n kó ń gbà yẹn, àwọn informant wọn gan náà kọ́kọ́. Wọ́n kó àwọn ẹ wo, Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ ká ṣèjọba o, Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ àṣẹjọba. Wọ́n mọ bọ́ ṣe múyàn fódìdí oṣù, almost 2 months ni wọ́n fi strategize báwo ni wọ́n ṣe lè gba àwọn ọmọ yẹn nírọ̀rùn. Wọ́n gbọ́ gbogbo formations wọn, wọ́n wá gé means of communication wọn, wọ́n ò rí fídíò ṣe síta mọ́, wọ́n ò rí kọ́ọ̀lù rìsífù mọ́, wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ́mọ́ ṣe wọn pa sínú igbó yẹn. Wọ́n kó gbogbo àwọn àmì kan barricade gbogbo inú igbó yẹn. Gbogbo ìgbà tó ń ṣe nǹkan yìí, Nigeria government náà ló bá àwọn yẹn pamọ́, tí kì bá ṣe pé jẹ́ ìtasọpọ̀lọ ẹnìkan. Ẹ ti ń kánjú ẹlẹ́yìn òrò àwọn àmì tán náà, ẹ̀rí àwọn Fúlàní tán náà kó tí wọ́n mú nínú wọn, ẹ̀rókù wọn. Ṣe sùúrù, ẹ ṣe sùúrù. Ó tó dá mi lójú ni pé tẹ́lẹ̀ bá jẹ́ weekend tán lè interview wọn, títí Monday videos wọn a máa surface. Gbogbo àwọn tó kó yẹn, wọn kò fídíò wọn máa surface, wọn máa interview wọn tá a máa rí wọn. All news mention our look out, à ń lò, à ń wà, àmọ̀pá máa rí adẹ̀ máa gbé síta. Àwọn tá a kóre o, àwọn mẹ́sẹ̀sán yẹn, àwọn mẹ́jẹ̀jọ yẹn rè tọ́dẹ̀ máa interview wọn. Ìyẹn tíjọba bá fẹ́ kárí. Okay. Olúlọ́yọ̀ sọ pé ìjọba ti instruct gbogbo, federal government ti instruct gbogbo àwọn ọmọ, àwọn family àwọn ọmọ tó ń kó yẹn pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ grant interview. Ẹ̀sà videos mélòó la rí lórí social media táwọn èèyàn lọ bá àwọn family yẹn tó lọ interview wọn. Wọ́n ṣó wọ́n ṣó bí táwọn ìyá yẹn ti ń pariwo, àwọn àgbélú ilé, àwọn ọmọ wa ń sunú igbó. Ó wá sọ pé wọ́n ti ban wọn, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ bá blogger sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kinní kan. I said that woman has brain problem. Àtòun àti gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ránṣẹ́, táwọn olóṣèlú ránṣẹ́ pé kán máa blackmail government àbí kí wọ́n discredit activities àwọn agbófinró wa. Because this is what they are trying to do now. Wọ́n ti fail níbi pé wọ́n lo àwọn ọmọ yẹn, kíkó àwọn ọmọ yẹn, wọ́n lò láti fẹ́ gbàjọba lórúkọ jẹ́. Ọlọ́run ò fún wọn ṣe, wọ́n ti fail níbẹ̀ yẹn. So the next strategy now is ká máa pariwo pé ìjọba ló kó wọn pamọ́, ìjọba ti kó wọn lẹ̀. That is their next strategy now. And they are going to fail in that. Because their strategy is failure at arrival ni. Àwa tó ní wá bá pé Nigerians, àwa ò ní gbárù ẹ̀. Àwọn ọmọ yóò tí kú, ẹni máa kú ló máa, ẹni máa parọ́, a sọ pé lẹ́rìí òun wà lálákejì. Àwọn ọmọ yóò kú, wọ́n wà láyé, wọ́n wà láyé. At least àti rí tó gbọ́n nínú àwọn ọmọ school, adẹ̀ ti rí adẹ̀ ráwọn àgbàlagbà nínú wọn. Ká bí wọ́n léèrè, ẹgbọ́n ṣé náà tí náà ti ń kó yín bọ̀? Ẹgbọ́n ṣé inú gbóná ti wá kó yín ni àbínú pálọ̀ lákan lẹ́wà tán kó yín sí tẹ́ ń jẹ tẹ́ ń mú bẹ̀? Because you are claiming they are looking fresh. Definitely wọ́n fún wọn ní nǹkan tó dáa jẹ náà ṣe look fresh, and very soon lágbára Ọlọ́run bí òótọ́ sí atọ́sọ́mọ ẹ tó máa gbé wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ tó máa kó wọn lọ rúbi tó ká ọmọ yẹn lọ, tí wọn náà máa look fresh bẹ́ẹ̀. That is my own prayer. Tọ́ra àwọn ọlọ́mọ ni wọ́n gbé táwọn òbí wọn wà ní ìpayín kékeré àtòṣì àtọ̀fọ̀ fún dídí oṣù méjì yẹn. Èkéyìí tó bá lóun jẹun tó jẹun dé inú nínú wọn mi ò rò. You now came out, you started saying rubbish just to discredit the government of their own. Saying bájọ́ ọ̀gá ibi tó ti mú lọ ẹ̀wọ̀n rẹ̀, green tẹ̀rí yẹn aṣọ táwọn ATM wọ̀ ni, blue ni ti CF convicted female, blue ni. Nígbà tó wà láwọn etí trial ó lẹ̀ ń wò yẹn. So ti ní brain problem, ó ti ní brain touch. Aṣọ green tó wọ̀ yẹn nígbà tó lọ kóòtù nìyẹn. Green ni fún àwọn etí trial, bóyá ATF or ATN, awaiting trial male or awaiting trial female, green ló máa wọ̀, blue ni convict máa wọ̀, CF or CM, convict male, convict female, blue làwọn máa wọ̀. Tó bá dẹ̀ jẹ́ condemn wá kọ CC sí lára, ẹ ti mọ̀ pé condemn lélẹ̀. So nígbà tó wà ní ATM ní awaiting trial, tó wà ní ATF rí awaiting trial female tó ń gbé lọ court. Nígbà tó ti dé ní brain touch ẹ̀ ló ní nǹkan tí ń ṣe ní brain ẹ̀, ẹ má jẹ́ ká waste time lórí tiẹ̀ jù, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa bọ́rọ̀ lọ. Wọ́n ní as part of the operations, multiple arrests were made. Check gbọ́. Multiple arrests were made within Oyo State and in other locations across some states in the country. This arrest completely disorganized the group, exerted overwhelming pressure on them, and ultimately led the terrorist group to unconditionally release the pupils and teachers. Further operations are to be conducted, the statement added. Earlier on Friday, a special adviser to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has disclosed that 8 suspected kidnappers, 8 suspected kidnappers were arrested during the operation and were being held by the DSS, while several others were neutralized. Nígbà tí wọ́n jọ ń yìnbọn síra wọn tó jọ exchange gun battle, wọ́n mú mẹ́jọ cash. A gbọ́ pé 9 ni wọ́n pa bẹ́ẹ̀, several àwọn eléyìí sọ were neutralized. Nígbà tó ti rí pé wọ́n ti gé gbogbo communication means àwọn, wọ́n ti kó àwọn family àwọn, ó ti dandan, wọ́n ti mọ̀ pé nǹkan. Ìgbà yẹn náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní pariwo pé tẹ́ bá súnmọ́ àwọn jù, àwọn apá àwọn ọmọ yẹn wọ́n ti mọ̀ pọ̀, wọ́n ti ń tú àwọn bọ̀, wọ́n ti mọ̀ pọ̀ tí ń gbé súnmọ́ wọn. That was ìjẹrin. Nígbà tó di ìjẹta, gọ́fúnà bọ́ síta pé ìgbà tó ń declare ìjọ kejì ẹ̀nà já àwọn ọmọ kó. Àwọn yẹn dẹ̀ wọ́n tún rescue àwọn ọmọ yẹn tán. Wọ́n tún kí gọ́fúnà Ọ̀yọ́ state pé ó ṣe wọn ó cooperate pẹ̀lú àwọn. Ní gọ́fúnà tó sọ pé ìjọba ó kó ọ̀la òun declare lẹ́nu, wọ́n wá ká àwọn ọmọ lọ́la. Àwọn yẹn tún credit ẹ̀. So máa tán kó síta kan máa bàjọba lórúkọ jẹ́ lẹ́gbọ́ yẹn tán pariwo ẹnu kiri lórí social media. Wọ́n ti rò pọ́n ní ra àwọn ọmọ yẹn gbà, wọ́n ra àwọn ọmọ yẹn gbà tán, ẹ̀ tó sọ pé ìjọba ló kó wọn pamọ́. Ẹnìkan ti sọ fẹ́mi tẹ́lẹ̀ ní ìgbà tí Igboho wà ní Igboho Ọ̀yọ́ park yẹn pé bàbá Gbàgede ẹ ṣàdúrà kí Igboho má kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn wá o. Mo kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ bẹ́ ìpè fẹ́ ni ẹgbẹ́ sáré ẹ yá ṣá. Ẹni yẹn ní ẹ̀ sọ pé kí ni reason? Mo ní kí ni reason? Ẹni yẹn ní tí Igboho tó bá lọ rescue àwọn ọmọ yẹn dé, ó ní wàláhì gbogbo wọn á sọ pé Igboho ló kó àwọn ọmọ yẹn pamọ́. Èmi náà dẹ̀ reason pẹ̀lú nǹkan tí máa yẹn sọ. Yorùbá ó rẹ o. Federal government ti sapá, gbogbo yín náà lè ṣe pé fún federal government. Gbogbo ẹ̀yọ opposition lẹ́ni kí government, ìfà òbí tí ẹni kí government resign. Kí lẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tó ṣẹ̀? Ó nítorí pé kò pé Mákindé nítorí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọmọ yẹn. Ìfà kò pé Mákindé gan kọ́ ló yẹ kó bì sọ. Ó yẹ kó bì sọ pé torí pé Tinubu ò wá látàbújá kó wá bá Mákindé ló yẹ kó sọ. Torí pé nínú òṣèlú tó ń mọ̀, president ló máa wá bá governor, tàbí ló máa fóònù pé governor. Ìṣe governor ló máa brief president tó ṣẹlẹ̀ state ẹ̀. Governor náà dẹ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀, olójoojúmọ́ lòun máa ń wo fóònù, bóyá president máa pè òun, what an effrontery. Kò sí nǹkan tá ní rí tán Nàìjíríà. Ẹ pariwo lé government, ẹ bú government, ẹ sọ gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ sí, ìyẹn ò dá yín lóhùn, ìyẹn strategize báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ gbọ́n àwọn ọmọ yẹn jáde. Òbí ní kó resign toró ti wà incompetent, kò sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn tí wọ́n ránṣẹ́, àwọn yẹn strategize lọ. Wọ́n wá rán ọmọ yẹn gbà tán láyọ̀ àtàlàfíà, ìbànújẹ́ dé bá yín. The next thing you people are now saying is that government yẹn gan ló kó wọn pamọ́. Kí la fẹ́ lu Nàìjíríà náà? if you must practice, or if you must play opposition, play it constructively, criticize government constructively. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ tó máa mú làákàyè wá, kì í ṣe tó máa sọ yín di insane, kì í ṣe táwọn èèyàn máa fi mọ̀ pọ́pọ́lọ yín ti yí sẹ́yìn, because kò ṣe gbọ́ ìsọ̀nà off. Àwọn ẹlẹ́ni tó ti strategize láti yẹ oṣù láti gbà tó ti kọ́ ọmọ ẹ. While you people were busy playing politics, you now came out, they succeeded, you now came out and be saying rubbish just to rub their name in the mud. Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́? Ẹ fẹ́ o, ẹ kọ̀ o, Tinubu is coming back for the second term. Lágbára Ọlọ́run. And insurgency, ayé Tinubu ló máa stop. Mọ́ tó fojú wọn rí ṣá. Fídíò kan wà lọ́wọ́ mi tí ń bá ṣó ẹ̀ láì YouTube àmú. Wọ́n lẹ̀ bí ẹni tó lóko ẹja lẹ̀ báyìí. Lágbára Ọlọ́run láìpẹ́ láì jìnà, Nigeria will be unsafe haven fún gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní agbénipa. Wọ́n yẹ sá lọ́gbọ̀ kí náà Fáṣọ̀nà ṣe máa sá lọ. Yẹn pa wọn 2023, wọ́n tún padà wọn 2026, ó tún fi wọ́n lánú ọkàn gbé lẹ̀. Wọ́n rò pé bóyá nǹkan ti rọjú. Wá mọ bọ́n ṣe try láti pa Traoré tó, wọn ò rí pa. Ọlọ́run ò fún wọn pa. Tí Traoré bá lo ọdún 10 péré lórí oyè yẹn, kódà Burkina Faso máa di tourist center bí Dubai ni, the way me am looking at it. Ọlọ́run gba máa yẹn láyè gan, òun ráyè ṣiṣẹ́ gidi sílùú yẹn. Àwọn tó wá ní kò ní rí ṣe, bọ́n ṣe ń wá báyìí ló ṣe fi wọ́n lánàá. Ọmọ olódòdó náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ tiẹ̀ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Gbogbo pọ́lísì ẹ̀ ló ní wọ́n lára. Ẹ̀ka ọmọ ọlọ́mọ tán, ẹ̀yin náà lẹ sponsor wọn. Ẹ̀yin elite náà lẹ sponsor wọn. Kọ́lọ̀ ká ọmọ yẹn wá. That is why I'm telling Governor Makinde àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin Southwest governors, you people should sit tight. Enough of ká máa fi ní àwọn èèyàn wa can govern, enough of ká máa fẹ̀mí wọn ta kite ká máa fi ṣòṣèlú. Ẹ má play politics with bitterness. Inter lè ṣe for now ni pé gbogbo àwọn villages yẹn, otherwise you see, a máa discourage àwọn ará abúlé from becoming literate. Most of àwọn tó di nǹkan lẹ́nu, most of them náà ló jókòó ni wọ́n gbé dàgbà. Bàbá tèmi is a PhD holder, abúlé ló gbé dàgbà, abúlé ló ti kàwé, abúlé ló ti lọ school, abúlé ló ti dẹni tó lọ university. Àìmọye àwọn tó wà lábúlé lánàá tó jábúlé yẹn náà ni wọ́n ti gbà dẹni tó ṣoríire. Tàbá wá discourage àwọn ará abúlé láti máa kàwé, level of illiteracy máa rise. And the funniest part is, bó ṣe rise yẹn tá bá ṣọ́ra, n tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní north ó sì máa ń padà ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́dọ̀ wa. Sí education ojú àwọn ará abúlé lójúmọ́ tó bá ti dà bẹ́ẹ̀, tá bá ti lọ create fear sẹ́mi àwọn ará abúlé sí, wọ́n ní fẹ́ fọmọ sí school mọ́. Ṣé orientation yẹn ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni? Wọ́n lè báyẹ̀ fún ọmọ wọn sí school mọ́, ṣáàtì rí wọn gbà jáde, ó yá má bá mi lóko, má lọ léwé ẹ̀ mọ́, kẹ́wàá fẹ́ sọ fún ọ̀tọ̀ máa gbọ́, ó parí. Má tẹ̀lé mi lóko, ó tó ríwẹ̀ ẹ̀ fi wélẹ̀. Ẹ ti bastardize education ní urban areas ní rural areas rather. Ó kù kára urban nìkan máa kàwé. And is that normal? Ṣé bí káàrọ̀ abúlé lè kàwé náà ṣe ń kọ́ schools sáwọn abúlé kiri? So I'm using this opportunity, I'm using this means now to call on every Southwest governors. Ẹ ń gba owó lórí àwọn local government, àwọn táwọn abúlé yìí wà. Ẹ make sure pé tight security ẹ ṣe sáwọn abúlé yẹn. Ẹ ṣe normal, ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n rí social amenities, ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n rí infrastructural facilities as and when due. Nítorí pé àwọn ọbẹ̀ yẹn ṣí sílẹ̀, làwọn Fúlàní yẹn ṣe ń lo opportunity yẹn. For your information, they might still come back. It might not be a sílé ẹ̀hóró àbí kíní kan mọ́. it might be another place. If only man dey Oyo state mo, go to that another state. That is why all government in all southwest must now sit tight. Ìdí tí mo fi sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé àwọn èèyàn wọn tó fẹ́ gbà jáde sí wà ní incarceration. Àwọn èèyàn tó fẹ́ gbà jáde sí wà ní incarceration, and olóṣèlú tó ń lò wọ́n sì ń lò wọ́n lọ́wọ́. Tẹ́yìn governors ò bá wá ṣídìílẹ̀, tẹ́ ẹ ṣàánú àwọn tó ń gbé gbèríko, tẹ́ ẹ wò pé èèyàn làwọn náà, owó ọ̀yà tẹ́ ẹ ń gbà lé wọn lórí yẹn, tẹ́ ẹ ná fún wọn, tẹ́ ẹ bá wọn tún lu wọn ṣe. Good motorable road ó wà ńbẹ̀, ẹ fún wọn ní communication means, ẹ bá wọn station police station síbẹ̀, tí police station bá wà ní villages wọn kiri, tí wọ́n ní nearness to security, kò ní síbẹ̀rù mọ́. But when those people were far away to security, tó jẹ́ pé the kidnappers can just come, they just come in, kidnap 40, 50 and go scot free. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ lẹ́yìn ṣèjọba lé wọn lórí, tó bá wá àsìkò ìbò, ẹ lọ bẹ̀ lọ máa jùdì, ẹ máa dójú owó èrè ẹlẹ́lọ campaign. Ṣé ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ni? Ṣé ẹ bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run ni? Deterrent ní kélé jẹ́ fún gbogbo ìjọba, ẹ̀kọ́ tó ga ní kó jẹ́. Ìtò ṣẹlẹ̀ ní north kan má gbèdé bí wọ́n mọ̀ fi lè ṣe litmus test ní o. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn agbófinró wa, inú mi kàn dùn látànà ni. Ẹ̀ka ẹ̀ṣọ́ believe you me, mo èmi mọ̀ fúnra mi tẹ́lẹ̀ wípé àwọn agbófinró Nàìjíríà ò kì í ṣe ọ̀dẹ. Wọ́n decapitate wọn ni wọ́n fún wọn láyè kan operate. Look at ẹ wo intelligence report yẹn. Màá ní kí a fi man yẹn lọ, kẹ́yìn náà gbọ́ gbogbo tún tí àwọn agbófinró wa pa fún bí oṣù méjì ni wọ́n fi from one step to the other, from one stage to the other, from one step to the other ni wọ́n gbà. Tọ́ bá sọ sí délé okele, tọ́ bá sọ sí délé okele, tọ́ bá sọ sí délé okele, títí tọ́ fi wá lọ pé nísìn we are fully armed with all our informations. The next thing is for us to move into the zone war. Wọ́n dẹ̀ move in, wọ́n dẹ̀ win. While they were doing this, Nigerians were abusing them, Nigeria were castigating them, they said nothing. They don't talk. Even the opposition, they were gaining popularity. You know one do, not knowing that it was just short-run disequilibrium. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé he who laugh last is going to laugh best. Look at what is happening now. I'm using this medium now to call on all you governors of Southwest. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ torí Ọlọ́run. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí sí urban tẹ́yìn gbé, ẹ bá wa rí sáwọn rural areas yìí náà. They deserve better. Those money you are collecting on their behalf ní local government wọn, owó wọn wà nú ẹ̀. Ẹ bá develop urban area nìkan, ẹ lọ develop rural areas. Àwọn náà kàn ní police station. Tíjọba federal bá lè gbé army barrack wá síbẹ̀ kó léwọ̀, inú mi dùn. Àwọn ahoro ẹ̀sìn ilé kankan wọ́n ní Nigeria government site army barrack síbẹ̀. Ara rúpọ̀ ta fẹ́ nìyẹn. Débi pé ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí, wọ́n ti ráwọn army tó ìbàjẹ́ army barrack àti police station wà ń bẹ̀ yẹn jọ yẹn ni. Ẹ̀rù àti ẹ̀gbà wọn ará bí yẹn díẹ̀ tó fi jáwọn local hunters ló tẹ̀lé wọn. Tọ́dẹ̀ pa àwọn ẹni ẹlẹ́ni dànù. Àwọn bàbá tó jókòó tán interview, àwọn báyìí ní ṣojú àwọn báyìí náà ṣe wọlé. Wọ́n nígbà táwọn ti rámí uniform, àwọn láwọn ti lálejò, wọ́n mọ̀ pé àṣà tó fẹ́ gbé wọn lọ́mọ lọ ni. Bọ́n ti ṣe ń wọlé yẹn, làwọn àmì wa ti máa gbọ́, làwọn àmì tó station síbẹ̀ ti máa gbọ́, làwọn ọlọ́pàá ti máa gbọ́, náà ti máa reinforce fún security pápápá wọ́n ti dé wọ́n ti barricade wọn. But unfortunately, while there is no security láwọn rural areas yẹn, easily na wọ́n máa kó wọn lọ. Ẹ má rò pé the storm is over o. The storm is far from over. They can still come back and do more. Who knows the next state? It's not very jabok. Because only reason, two reasons. One, for political reasons. Secondly, fún àwọn èèyàn wọn tó wà ní incarceration. Mo tún fẹ́ fi fídíò máa ń ta gbọ́ lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn. mo fẹ́ fi fídíò yẹn tún parí iṣẹ́ tá a ṣe àti bí wọ́n ṣe kó àwọn aráabí yẹn dé àwọn ọlẹ ẹlẹ́ni àwọn àmì tí wọ́n kó wọn dé kẹ́wọ́ bọ́n ṣe wọ̀lú àwọn tó ní wọ́n lọ kó wọn wá láti ilẹ̀ haúsá o kẹ́wọ́ bọ́n ṣe kó wọn wọ̀lú kẹ́wọ́ àwọn èèyàn ṣe ń pariwo lálẹ́ ni wọ́n tó dé lálẹ́ kẹ́wọ́ bọ́n ṣe dé gbogbo yẹn náà ni màá ní kán ṣò fún wa mo kí wa pé àkú iṣẹ́ o.
All right, they are back. All right, congratulations. Welcome. Congratulations. Life attacking roundabout. This is the rescue team. Congratulations. Ogbomoso kú oríire o. Àwọn military ló lọ. Congratulations, sir. Thank you, Nigerian police. Thank you. Welcome. This is Ogbomoso Focus TV. Orítataki Ogbomoso la wà yó. All right. Congratulations. Adúpẹ́. Welcome. Congratulations, Nigerian. Ogbomoso kú oríire o. Kú oríire. The rescue. Orítataki Ogbomoso ibẹ̀ la wà báyìí. The rescue has been done. Congratulations. Orítataki Ogbomoso ibẹ̀ la wà yìí.
No, we have done his own. Yes, sir. Please talk to them. You're talking to them.
All right, okay? God has done it. We thank God for everything.
Thank God.
It's over.
It's
Over, okay? We bless God. No problem.
Precisely May, 9th of May, one of the top Al-Qaeda affiliates known as Ansaro leaders was arrested by the DSS. His name is Abu Bara, but his real name is Abbas Mukhtar, popularly known as Abu Bara, was arrested. And the second one, who happens to be the main leader, which is popularly known as Mahmouda, whose name is Abubakar Abba, was arrested 27th of July by the DSS last year. So these were top leadership of the Ansar group and affiliate of the Al-Qaeda, and also wanted by the United States government and the United Kingdom government for terrorist-related attacks. So when they were arrested, the members became desperate to secure the release of their leaders. So several attacks were attempted last year that were foiled by our security forces, especially on the Wawa detention facilities of the Nigerian Armed Forces. It's highly sensitive detention facilities in Niger State. The attack were foiled, and after that they went quiet and start planning this attack. So this was a carefully planned strategic operation, and the reason behind it was our choice of location and the people was one. They needed a place where an action that can hit the government so hard to force the release of their leader. So they know that the president is from Southwest, so decided to move the operation down south. And they needed somewhere close to the forest where they can quickly hibernate and then hide the children.
So you don't necessarily agree with the Oyo State governor, who was quoted in the video to have said the abduction happened the next morning after he declared to run for president?
No. You don't. Like international terrorist organizations don't have planned operations within a day or 2 days. It can take them up to 6 months. These are professionals, and it's something they've been doing for years. So, secondly, they needed, because the president is from Southwest, they know that if they hit close home, then it will affect him politically, it will put pressure on him. Then too, they also realize that the home of media in Nigeria is the Southwest. So it will generate, a very serious media hype, and it can easily go international.
Hold that thought for a minute. She just gave us. Authorities are saying now that the kidnappers demanded the release of one of their kingpins who is currently facing prosecution, but government refused. How significant is that decision from a national security perspective?
So we're talking about leaders of international terrorist organizations. You don't just release people like that. And it's also going to affect us, within the committees of nations in terms of our approach, cooperations and the rest, in terms of intelligence that we share on terrorism globally. And this is something that we need to commend this government for, and that is their resolve to say we're not going to negotiate. This is non-negotiable. What you're asking for is a no-no. And when you say it's a no-no, it means that the only option is to rescue. And we're talking about kids of 2, 4 years old, of age involved here. It's not an operation that you can just, go gun ablaze and then enter the forest and start shooting. So it requires careful, operational plans. And if you look at what has happened here, the operation involved the DSS, the special Operation Squad of the Nigerian Navy, that is the Nigerian equivalent of the US SEAL, Naval SEAL. We have the Special Squad from the Nigerian Air Force, the Special Squad for the Defense Intelligence, the best of the best from the Nigerian Police, and even from the Office of the National Security Advisors were involved in this operation. And what they did was, the use of technology, use of intelligence to be able to identify those that are involved, which DSS already had some information about them prior to that time, and they began to identify associates of those people, their mothers, their children, their wives, people close to them, and they began to they spread their dragnet across the northern part of Nigeria, from Kwara State to Niger to Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Gombe, all the way to Adamawa, Borno State. They began to arrest family members, associates of these people. So what they did was that they did the video and sent the video back to them. Now, okay, we've seen the one you killed. If you kill anyone, we also kill your own family member. So if you want to negotiate, see,
they were able to trace the family members.
Family members, everyone close to them. Government security forces picked everyone.
So all the while there was a line of communication between government
of course, and governments were so strategic in the operation that they did not relent.
Were they still in Oyo State at the time of rescue?
Yeah, they were still in the forest. So there was this quick response from the Nigerian defense forces, Nigerian security forces, to encircle them before they could move them from Oyo forest to the Kainji forest, which is actually their base, and that would be very difficult. If you compare this with to Chibok girls, the response was very slow, and before the government could respond, they've already shared those children, so it became very difficult. Learning from that, the security agencies this time around, the team did not waste time. They were able to launch operations immediately, cover the entire forest, the forest area, and they began to close in on them to ensure that there is no escape route. They cut off supply, cut off communication, cut off everything. And they only release communication when they want to communicate with them and let them understand that there is no two-way out of this.
Just for clarity, Mr. Adetayo, because you're the closest to the DSS we have tonight. For this.
If you want it,